Hello gamers, KKaceh here. Welcome to Strive to Be Critical, in which we are talking about good stuff in video games, which is unlike Strive To Rant that mostly criticize and complaining about a game. In this video, I'm trying to analyze the opening cutscene and the opening act of Honkai Star Rail and see how effective they are at hooking a newcomer to the game. I'm not going to analyze them scene by scene, but more like the overall setup of the opening, like the story flow, the character of choice that are being shown in the opening act, and maybe about the villains that is being shown. But before we get started, do please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. With only a click of button, it will help me so much to improve my life, while you will get more video games video, especially Honkai Star Rail videos. Alright, enough stalling, let's just get into those analysis. First, let's talk about the opening story flow. The story pick up very fast, with us first controlling Kafka and Silverwolf and slightly getting attached to these two since we're controlling them for quite a bit. And when you thought that Kafka is the main character, all of a sudden able to pick up your protagonist and then meeting people from the Astral Express and the space station. This whole sequence kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy VII Remake opening, because you're thrown straight into a conflict after the first cutscene, and this whole conflict lasts for a good while. But of course, it is Final Fantasy VII. It is a total masterpiece when it comes to an RPG opening. Honestly, this can be a good and bad thing at the same time. Those who enjoy slower start and build up, like Genshin or maybe even Persona 4 to a certain extent, could find the opening of the game to be a bit overwhelming. Since so many things are happening, some in-game terms and definitions are being thrown into the player, then there are so many characters are being introduced one after another in such a period of time. But on the other hand, those who like fast-moving plots and not so much exposition will really love it, since we're going straight into the action and meeting many well-designed characters. Also, those who don't really care about stories and just want their waifus and husbandos, it's pretty good too, since the opening doesn't last that long. Next, let's talk about the characters. The first characters that we see and use in the game is Kafka. I would say most majority of video game players will say she is an incredibly attractive character, especially to those who really appreciate anime character aesthetics. However, at the end, when we know that we only control Kafka for a short time and she's not a permanent character, it causes most of the players to really want to get Kafka in the roster, since she has given such a strong impression on the player thanks to her design, charming voice acting, and also amazing combat animation. I would say putting Kafka as the introduction character will be one of the best decisions that a developer could have made, as Kafka becomes one of the most beloved, if not most iconic character in Honkai Star Rail. And good for them, many people spend money on her banner. Other than that, they also put Silverwolf along with Kafka, which I think it is a good hook for Honkai Impact 3rd player, because she really resembles Bronya. Not to mention Bronya is actually exists in the game as well. But what's best is that they show us Himiko not too long into the prologue, which is once again a crazy good hook to a Honkai Impact 3rd player, especially those who really loves Himiko and wish her to stay alive in this game. But many said players becomes paranoid and really wish nothing happens to her. Other than that, when we control the main character, we group up with two new characters into the Honkai universe that seems to be similar in age with the main character, and which I think once again it is a great choice, since it kinda shows the power dynamic of the group, with March being a bubbly person and Danheng the silent serious guy archetype, and the Trailblazer can be whoever we want them to be. And we know that these guys are going to be our besties. A trio group is always good, especially when the main character is a silent protagonist, since if it's a group of two, one character will dominate the conversation. Talking about you, Paimon. So I would say the characters that they've thrown into us in their introduction are a very good choice. Next, let's talk briefly about the first setting that they have chosen. And I think Herda Space Station is the best place you could have asked for to start your journey in this game. Not only it is small in scale, but also it is so futuristic and it's in space, which really sets up the setting of the game of having a massive scale, since we have no idea how many planets are out there and how many universes or galaxies. And also the theme of interstellar journey can be really felt. since if you start on a planet, you won't get the same vibes, as you most likely won't know what is outside the planet. And if only going to spend a little bit of time in that planet, it is such a shame since you could have explored the planet a little bit more. But by starting in space, you will know that it's going to be a long journey with infinite potential. Once again, I don't want to say that starting on a planet is a bad thing, since Star Ocean does a really good job of carrying the theme of interstellar journey as well. Well, I cannot just talk about all of the good stuff. If there's anything that I wish they did something better, I wish that there's a better enemy being shown towards the end of the prologue. Don't get me wrong, it is a good thing that the first big boss was the Doomsday Beast, as it shows all kinds of potential crazy creatures that could appear in the game. However, as a live service game, this game life cycle is going to be long, assuming they're doing well. It's just that we don't have any villain that was directly messing with us, so that we can eventually pay back for what they did to us. I mean, the Anti-Matter Legion, but it's more like a group, and maybe Nanook, but it was more like a scene that he gazed at us and he didn't do anything bad directly. So we're really missing something. Let's give you an example, what I'm trying to say here. Like the closest example would be in Genshin, Signora back in Mondstadt. When we thought that we had a happy ending, she just showed up and messed us up pretty good. Also, we did also keep encountering her in the journey until she was put down for good. Well, I wish she was handled better in Genshin, honestly, but you know what I'm trying to say here. At least after Signora's death, our more shifted towards the Fatui as a group, and they have shown all of the important characters in that organization. I wish Starry had someone like that in the opening, someone that is going to be an obstacle for a long time. And thinking back, probably Pentalia or Duke Inferno would have been a rather decent candidate for this, I would say. Or even another Emanator, since we know they are connected to Nanook. Well, I'm not going to talk about how is the core gameplay mechanics introduction in Honkai Star Rail was done, since that can be a topic for another time. Well, I've complimented enough about the opening of Honkai Star Rail, but how about you guys? How many of you actually enjoy how the developers handle the opening? And how many of you actually dislike the opening, and why? Do let me know about it in the comment section, and I wish to learn more about what you guys think, since I'm pretty sure as well I'm still missing a few points that could have been discussed regarding this topic. And other than that, I really hope that this video will make you think about what is your favorite video games opening of all time, and hopefully you guys come to appreciate them even more if you've never realized it before. Anyway, I thank you all for watching, and once again, I really appreciate it if you guys can leave a like and subscribe to my channel. As with the support, I will be able to pump up more and better content. Maybe if you like this kind of analysis video, do let me know, since there's a lot of content you can talk about in Honkai Star Rail. Until the next video, stay sharp gamers.